Laudetur Jesus Christus. Praised be Jesus Christ. A very warm welcome to you on behalf of Vatican Media, Vatican Radio, and all my colleagues here at the Vatican's Dicastery for Communication. My name is Joseph Tulloch, and I'll be providing the English language commentary for this live broadcast of Pope Francis' general audience on today, Wednesday the 17th of January. The event is taking place in the Paul VI Hall in the Vatican, as it will be for the remainder of the winter period. It's a bit of a grey day here in Rome with some smatterings of rain, but once the weather is nice again, these audiences will be held back in St. Peter's Square as usual. Today, Pope Francis will be continuing with his series of catechesis on the vices and the virtues, and his topic today will be lust. A very warm welcome to all of you. Anyway, whether you're joining us via our Vatican News audio YouTube channel, Radio Maria Papua New Guinea, Radio Maria England, Catholic Faith Network in America, Shalom World TV, Salt and Light TV, at Madison TV, EWTN TV, Uganda Catholic Television, Catholic TV, Luminous Radio India, or via any local or diocesan radio station around the world. You can also find this broadcast available right now on our Vatican Media audio app and our Vatican News website, which you can access at www.vaticannews.va, as well as on our Facebook page. Those of you watching on the television will be able to see that door about in the middle of the screen. That's the door from which Pope Francis will be emerging in just a second. Once he gets here, we'll be starting today's general audience with a reading from the first letter to the Thessalonians in various languages, and after that Pope Francis will give, as always, his catechesis in Italian, of which we'll be providing a simultaneous English language translation, and that will be followed by a summary of the Pope's catechesis in various languages. And Pope Francis now arriving in the Paul VI Hall, and the applause starts as people start to see him. So he's now just making his way out onto the stage. We'll be starting shortly, as I was saying, and I was saying that I won't be translating the summaries of the Pope's catechesis in all the various languages because you'll have just heard the whole thing translated into English, but I will translate the Pope's greetings to the faithful of each language group. And then the general audience will come to an end with the singing of the Our Father in Latin and the Holy Father's apostolic blessing, which, as ever, is imparted to all of you listening live, whether in person in the Vatican or at distance via this and other broadcasts. So I said that today would be another one in the Pope series of catechesis on the vices and the virtues. It's the fourth in that series. We started in December of last year, and last week Pope Francis spoke about the vice of gluttony. And now Pope Francis will open this general audience, introducing it with the sign of the cross and a liturgical greeting. Let us prepare ourselves to receive his words and receive his blessing.
In nome del Padre, del Figlio e dello Spirito Santo. La pace sia con voi.
Peace be with you, says Pope Francis, and now we hear that reading from the first letter to the Thessalonians, starting in Italian.
Dalla prima lettera di San Paolo Apostolo ai Tessalonicesi. Fratelli, questa è la volontà di Dio, la vostra santificazione, che vi asteniate dall'impurità, che ciascuno di voi sappia trattare il proprio corpo con santità e rispetto, senza lasciarsi dominare dalla passione, come i pagani che non conoscono Dio. Parola di Dio.
And we'll now hear that same reading in French. The reading is, as I said, from 1 Thessalonians, it's chapter 4, verses 3 to 5.
De la première lettre de Saint Paul apôtre aux Thessaloniciens. Frères, la volonté de Dieu, c'est que vous viviez dans la sainteté, en vous abstenant de la débauche et en veillant chacun à rester maître de son corps, dans un esprit de sainteté et de respect, sans vous laisser entraîner par la convoitise, comme font les païens qui ne connaissent pas Dieu. Parole du Seigneur.
And now we hear those same words in English.
A reading from the first letter of St. Paul to the Thessalonians. For this is the will of God, your sanctification, that you abstain from immorality, that each one of you know how to control his own body in holiness and honor, not in the passion of lust like heathens who do not know God. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God.
And now those same words from St. Paul in German.
Lesung aus dem 1. Thessalonicher Brief. Das ist es, was Gott will, eure Heiligkeit, dass ihr die Unzucht meidet, dass jeder von euch lernt, mit seiner Frau in heiliger und achtungsvoller Weise zu verkehren, nicht in leidenschaftlicher Begierde wie die Heiden, die Gott nicht kennen. Wort des lebendigen Gottes.
And now the reading in Spanish.
Lectura del libro de los Proverbios. Hermanos, la voluntad de Dios es que sean santos, que se abstengan del pecado carnal, que cada uno sepa usar de su cuerpo con santidad y respeto, sin dejarse llevar de la pasión desenfrenada, como hacen los paganos que no conocen a Dios. Palabra del Señor.
St. Paul's words will now be read aloud in Portuguese.
Leitura da primeira carta de São Paulo aos Tessalonicenses. Irmãos, esta é na verdade a vontade de Deus, a vossa santificação, que vos afaceis da devassidão, que cada um de vós saiba possuir o seu corpo em santidade e honra, sem se deixar levar pelo desejo da paixão, como os pagãos que não conhecem Deus. Palavra do Senhor.
And now the reading in Arabic.
قراءة من رسالة القديس بولس الرسول الأولى إلى أهل تسالونيقي. أيها الإخوة، إن مشيئة الله إنما هي تقديسكم، ذاك بأن تجتنبوا الزنا وأن يحسن كل منكم اتخاذ امرأة في القداسة والحرمة، فلا يدع الشهوة تستولي عليه كما تستولي على الوثنيين الذين لا يعرفون الله. كلام الرب.
And now the final reading in Polish, and after that we'll go to the Holy Father's catechesis for this week.
Czytanie z listu świętego Pawła apostoła do Tesaloniczan. Bracia, wolą Bożą jest wasze uświęcenie, powstrzymanie się od rozpusty, aby każdy umiał utrzymać własne ciało w świętości i we czci, a nie w pożądliwej namiętności, jak to czynią nieznający Boga poganie. Oto Słowo Boże.
And so now, having heard that reading from the first letter to the Thessalonians, as I was saying, we'll now hear from Pope Francis. He'll give us his catechesis, as I said at the beginning of the broadcast. That'll be on the subject of lust. So it's the next one in his series of catechesis on the vices and the virtues.
Cari fratelli e sorelle, buongiorno.
Dear brothers and sisters, good morning. Today, let us listen well to the catechesis, and because afterwards there'll be a circus, and I'll do something here, and we'll enjoy it. Let us continue our journey concerning vices and virtues. And the ancient fathers teach us that after gluttony, the second demon, or vice, that is always crouching at the door of the heart, is that of lust, called, while gluttony is voracity with regard to food, the second vice is a kind of voracity with regard to another person. That is, the poisoned bond that human beings have with each other, especially in the sphere of sexuality. Please note, in Christianity, there is no condemnation of the sexual instinct. There is no condemnation. A book of the Bible, the Song of Songs, is a wonderful poem of love between two lovers. However, this beautiful dimension of our humanity, the dimension of love, is not without its dangers, so much so that St. Paul already has to address the issue in the first epistle to the Corinthians. And he writes, St. Paul, "It is actually reported that there is immorality among you, and of a kind that is not found even among the pagans." That's from chapter 5, verse 1. The apostle's reproach concerns precisely an unhealthy handling of sexuality by some Christians. But let us look at human experience, the experience of falling in love. There are many newlyweds here. You can talk about this. Why this mystery happens, and why it is such a shattering experience in people's lives, none of us know. When one person falls in love with another, they fall in love just like that. It is one of the most astonishing realities of existence. Most of these songs you hear on the radio are about this. Loves that shine, loves that are always sought and never reached, loves that are full of joy, or loves that torment us to the point of tears. If it is not polluted by vice, falling in love is one of the purest feelings. A person in love becomes generous, enjoys giving gifts, writes letters and poems. They stop thinking of themselves in order to be completely focused on the other. This is beautiful. And if you ask a person in love why they love, if you ask them why they love, they will not find an answer. In so many ways, theirs is an unconditional love, without any reason. You must have patience if that love, which is so powerful, is also a little naive. Lovers do not really know the face of the other. They tend to idealize them. They are ready to make promises whose weight they do not immediately grasp. This garden, where wonders are multiplied, is not, however, safe from evil. It is defiled by the demon of lust, and this vice is particularly odious, for at least two reasons. First, because it destroys people's relationships. To prove such a reality, unfortunately, the everyday news is sufficient. How many relationships that began in the best of ways have then turned into toxic relationships, relationships of possession of the other, lacking respect and a sense of limits. These are loves in which chastity has been missing. Chastity is not to be confused with sexual abstinence. It's much more than sexual abstinence, but rather chastity should be connected to the will to never possess the other. To love is to respect the other, to seek his or her happiness, to cultivate empathy for his or her feelings, to engage in the knowledge of a body, a psychology, and a soul that are not our own, and that must be contemplated for the beauty that they bear. To love, this is to love. And love is beautiful. Lust, on the other hand, makes a mockery of all this. It plunders, it robs, it consumes in haste. It does not want to listen to the other, but only to its own need and pleasure. Lodge judges that every courtship is a bore. It does not seek that synthesis between reason, drive and feeling that would help us to conduct existence wisely. The lustful seeks only shortcuts. He does not understand that the road to love must be travelled slowly, and this patience, far from being synonymous with boredom, allows us to make our loving relationships happy.
Ma c'è una seconda ragione
But there's a second reason
per cui la lussuria
why
è un
lust
pericoloso.
is a dangerous vice.
Tra tutti i piaceri
Among
dell'uomo,
all human
la
pleasures,
sessualità ha una voce
sexuality has a powerful voice.
coinvolge tutti i sensi.
It involves all the
Dimora
senses.
sia nel corpo che
It
nella
dwells
psiche.
both in the body
E questo è
and in the psyche. And this is
Ma se non è
beautiful, it's wonderful.
disciplinata,
But if it's not disciplined with patience,
pazienza, se non iscritta
if
in
it is
una
not
relazione,
inscribed
una storia
in a
dove
relationship
due
and in a
individui
story
la
where two
trasformano
individuals
in una danza
transform it
amorosa,
into a loving dance,
svuota in una catena
it turns
che
into a
priva
chain
l'uomo di
that
libertà.
deprives human beings of freedom.
Piacere sessuale,
Sexual
che è
pleasure,
un dono di Dio,
which is a gift of God,
minato dalla
is
pornografia.
undermined by pornography.
Soddisfacimento senza
Satisfaction
relazione
without a
può
relationship
generare
that can generate forms of addiction. We have to defend love,
del cuore, della mente,
the love of the heart and the mind and the body,
puro nel donarsi uno
love
all'altro.
that is pure, one person giving themselves to the other. And this is the
del
beauty
rapporto sessuale.
of the sexual relation.
Vincere la battaglia
Winning
contro la
the battle
lussuria,
against lust, against
contro la
the
cosificazione dell'altro,
objectification of the
può essere
other,
un'impresa che dura
can
tutta
be
la
a
vita.
lifelong endeavor.
Però il premio di questa
But the
battaglia
prize
è
of this
più
battle
importante in
is
assoluto,
the most important of all,
si tratta di
because
preservare
it is
quella bellezza
preserving
che Dio ha scritto
that beauty
nella sua
that God wrote
creazione,
into his creation
quando ha immaginato
when he imagined
l'amore
love
tra uomo
between
e la
a man
donna,
and a woman.
che non è per usare uno all'altro,
And that's not for
ma
one
per
of them to
amarsi.
use the other, but
Quella
for them to
bellezza
love
che
each
ci
other.
fa credere
That
che
beauty
costruire
that
una
makes us
storia
believe
insieme
that building a story together
è meglio
is
che andare
better
a caccia
than
di
having
donne.
affairs.
Tanti Don Giovanni lì,
There are many Don Giovannis out there.
Costruire una storia
Building
insieme è
tenderness
meglio che andare
is
a
better than
caccia di
bowing
avventure.
to the demon of possession,
Coltivare tenerezza
and
è
serving,
meglio che piegarsi al demone del possesso.
cultivating tenderness is better than bowing to the demon of possession, because true love does not possess, it gives itself. Serving is better than conquering,
Perché
because
se non c'è l'amore,
if there is no love,
la vita
then life
triste,
is lonely, it's sad.
triste solitudine. Grazie.
Thank you. And so, having heard that catechesis on love, we'll now hear a summary of it in many different languages, starting with French. As I said, I won't be translating the French language summary because you've just heard the whole thing in
Les fidèles de langue
English.
française sont heureux de vous exprimer leurs sentiments respectueux et leur filial attachement. Ils vous assurent de leur prière pour votre personne et pour votre ministère de successeur de Pierre. À la fin de cette audience, nous chanterons le Notre Père en latin, puis le Saint-Père impartira la bénédiction apostolique. Il l'accorde spécialement aux enfants, aux personnes âgées, aux malades et aux personnes qui sont dans l'épreuve. Il bénira également les chapelets et les autres objets de dévotion que vous avez apportés à cette intention. Voici le résumé de la catéchèse que vient d'exposer Sa Sainteté le Pape François. Chers frères et sœurs, alors que la gourmandise évoquée la semaine dernière est la voracité envers la nourriture, la luxure est une sorte de voracité envers une autre personne et représente un lien empoisonné entre des êtres humains, notamment dans le domaine de la sexualité, qui est pourtant une belle dimension de notre humanité. Il s'agit d'un vice particulièrement odieux et dangereux pour deux raisons. La première est qu'il ruine les relations entre les personnes en chosifiant l'autre. La seconde raison est qu'il enchaîne l'homme et génère une forme de dépendance. À présent, Sa Sainteté va saluer en italien les francophones.
Saluto cordialmente i pellegrini di lingua francese, in particolare le studente di Fénelon Sainte-Marie di Parigi. Vi invito tutti a testimoniare la bellezza e la dignità della persona umana nelle vostre relazioni. A tutti la mia benedizione.
En s'adressant aux francophones, le Saint-Père vient de dire « Je salue cordialement les pèlerins
I
de
cordially
langue
greet the
française,
French-speaking
en
pilgrims,
particulier les
especially the
élèves de
students
Fénelon
from the
Sainte-Marie
Fénelon
de
Sainte-Marie
Paris.
in Paris.
Je vous invite
I
tous à
invite you
témoigner de la
all
beauté
to
et
bear
de la
witness
dignité
to the
de la
beauty and the
personne
dignity
humaine
of the human
dans vos
person
relations.
in your relationships.
Que Dieu vous bénisse.
My blessing to you all. And now a summary and an exchange of greetings in English.
Most Holy Father, the English-speaking pilgrims and visitors wish to express to you their sentiments of deep respect and esteem, and to assure you of their prayers for your ministry as a successor of Peter. At the end of the audience, we will sing together the Our Father in Latin. His Holiness will then impart his apostolic blessing, which he extends in a particular way to the members of your families at home. He also intends to bless any religious articles you may have brought for this purpose. In a special way, his blessing goes to your children, the elderly, and those who are sick. The following is a summary of the Holy Father's catechesis at the beginning of the audience. Dear brothers and sisters, in our catechesis on the virtues and the vices, we now turn to lust, which is opposed to the beauty of that love which the Creator has implanted in our hearts and called us to cultivate in our relations with others, especially by the responsible use of our sexuality. Lust poisons the purity of love by turning it from a chaste, patient, and generous acceptance of another person in all the mysterious richness of his or her being into an egotistic desire for possession and immediate satisfaction. God's gift of sexuality, which finds sublime expression in conjugal love, is at the service of human fulfillment and authentic freedom, whereas lust enchains us in selfishness and emptiness. May our hearts always treasure the beauty of love, which shares in the mystery of God's own unconditional love for us, created in his own image. The Holy Father will now greet us in Italian.
Do il benvenuto a tutti i pellegrini di lingua inglese, specialmente ai gruppi provenienti dall'Australia e dagli Stati Uniti d'America. Su tutti voi e sulle vostre famiglie invoco la gioia e la pace del Signore nostro Gesù Cristo. Dio vi benedica.
I extend a warm welcome to the English-speaking pilgrims and visitors taking part in today's audience, especially the groups from Australia and the United States of America. Upon all of you and upon your families, I invoke the joy and peace of our Lord Jesus Christ. God bless you.
And now we'll hear a summary and exchange of greetings in Spanish, which is of course the Pope's own language, so he may read the summary himself or he may have someone else read it.
Heiliger Vater, die Gläubigen deutscher Sprache.
Excuse me, this is German, not Spanish. Spanish is next. Apologies for that.
Verbundenheit bekunden und versichern Sie zugleich Ihres Gebets in allen Anliegen Ihres universalen apostolischen Dienstes. Zum Schluss dieser Audienz singen wir gemeinsam das Vaterunser in lateinischer Sprache. Danach wird der Heilige Vater den apostolischen Segen erteilen. Gern schließt er darin Ihre Angehörigen ein, besonders die Kinder, die älteren Menschen und die Leidenden. Er segnet auch die Rosenkränze und die übrigen Andachtsgegenstände, die Sie dafür mitgebracht haben. Es folgt nun eine Zusammenfassung der Katechese des Heiligen Vaters in deutscher Sprache. Liebe Brüder und Schwestern, die geistlichen Väter im frühen Christentum warnen immer auch vor dem Laster der Unkeuschheit, das an der Tür des Herzens lauert. Hierbei geht es nicht um eine Ablehnung der Sexualität als solcher, sondern um den rechten Umgang mit ihr im Sinne des Schöpfers. Die Erfahrung des Verliebtseins etwa zeigt, dass es dem wahrhaft Liebenden zuerst um das Glück des anderen geht. Diese uneigennützige und reine Liebe wird jedoch entstellt, wenn sie zu einer besitzergreifenden Begierde wird, die den Menschen nicht mehr als Person betrachtet, sondern als Objekt zur Befriedigung der eigenen Bedürfnisse. Auf diese Weise werden die menschlichen Beziehungen vergiftet und die Liebe erlischt. Der geduldige Weg der Keuschheit hingegen schützt die wahre Liebe und führt so zur Erfüllung. Der Heilige Vater richtet nun einen kurzen Gruß auf Italienisch an die deutschsprachigen Gläubigen.
Cari fratelli e sorelle, la vita di Sant'Antonio Abate, di cui ora ricorre la memoria liturgica, ci mostra come la lotta spirituale contro i demoni e il peccato è indispensabile per crescere nella santità. Imploriamo dunque il continuo aiuto del Signore per vincere questa battaglia.
Liebe Brüder und Schwestern, das Leben des heiligen
Dear brothers and
Mönchsvaters
sisters,
Antonius,
the life of Saint
dessen
Anthony Abbot,
Gedenktag wir heute
whose
begehen,
liturgical memory falls today,
zeigt uns, dass der
liturgical
geistliche
memorial,
Kampf
excuse me,
gegen die Dämonen
shows us
und
how
die
the
Sünde
spiritual battle
unverzichtbar
against
ist,
demons and sin
um in der
is
Heiligkeit zu wachsen.
indispensable to grow in holiness.
Bitten wir also
Let us
beständig
therefore
um die Hilfe
implore
des
the
Herrn,
Lord's
damit
continued
wir am
help
Ende den Sieg
to win
erlangen.
this battle. And now we'll hear the summary and exchange of greetings in Spanish. As I said earlier, it may be the Pope himself reading it, or it may be an assistant. We'll see now.
Santo Padre, los visitantes y peregrinos de lengua española que participan en esta audiencia desean manifestarle cordialmente sus sentimientos de filial afecto, que acompañan con fervientes oraciones por sus intenciones de pastor de toda la Iglesia. Al final de este encuentro se cantará el Padre Nuestro en latín. Su santidad impartirá a todos los presentes la bendición apostólica que extiende complacido a sus familiares, especialmente a los niños, a los ancianos, a los enfermos y a cuantos sufren. Bendice también los rosarios y los objetos de devoción que los peregrinos llevan consigo.
And I believe Pope Francis will now read himself the summary in
Queridos
Spanish.
hermanos y hermanas, siguiendo este ciclo de catequesis dedicado a considerar los vicios y las virtudes, hoy meditamos sobre la lujuria. Se trata de un vicio que ataca y distrae todos nuestros sentidos, nuestro cuerpo y nuestra psique. Este vicio se presenta como un apetito voraz que impulsa a utilizar a las personas, a depredarlas, a robarlas, buscando en ellas un placer desordenado. En cambio, el amor verdadero se muestra desinteresado, sin condiciones, es generoso, es comprensivo, es servicial. La Biblia y la tradición cristiana ofrecen un lugar de honor y de respeto a la dimensión sexual humana. Esta nunca se condena cuando preserva la belleza que Dios ha escrito en cada uno de nosotros, cuando está abierta al cuidado del prójimo, a la vida y a la ayuda mutua. Por eso cuidemos siempre que nuestros afectos y nuestro amor no se vean contaminados por la voluntad de poseer a otro. Saludo cordialmente a todos los peregrinos.
I cordially greet all Spanish-speaking pilgrims.
Pidamos al Señor
Let us ask the
la
Lord
gracia
for the grace.
Pidamos al Señor
Let us ask the Lord for the grace to know how to love as He loves, with a free and gratuitous love, and also to know how to contemplate respectfully the gift that God gives us
Dios lo bendiga.
in our brothers and our sisters. May God bless you, and may the Holy Virgin accompany you. Thank you very much. And we'll now hear a summary in Portuguese.
Santo Padre e os fiéis de língua portuguesa desejam testemunhar-lhe filial afeto e sincera fidelidade e rezam por todas as intenções do seu ministério apostólico universal. No final desta audiência, cantaremos a oração do Pai Nosso em latim e depois o Santo Padre vai conceder a bênção apostólica com um pensamento especial às crianças, aos idosos e aos doentes. Abençoará também os terços e demais objetos de devoção que cada um tiver consigo. Leio agora um resumo da catequese que o Santo Padre acaba de pronunciar. Irmãos e irmãs, depois de refletir sobre a gula, hoje detenho-me sobre outro vício que ronda o nosso coração, desejando entrar nele. É a luxúria. Trata-se de uma sofreguidão que devora as relações. Ao alertar para este veneno, o cristianismo não condena o instinto sexual. Na verdade, o enamoramento é um dos sentimentos mais puros. Os enamorados desintoxicam-se de si mesmos ao pensarem constantemente na pessoa amada. Porém, esta bela experiência humana corre dois perigos. Um é o querer submeter a outra pessoa a uma vontade egoísta. O outro é o vício da pornografia, que coisifica. Para ambos, o remédio é construir a beleza de uma história a dois, com respeito e liberdade. Agora o Santo Padre saúda em italiano os fiéis de língua portuguesa.
Saluto cordialmente i pellegrini di lingua portoghese. In modo speciale saluto il gruppo proveniente di Capo Verde. Il Signore che ci ha creato ci chiama a seguire vie di unità. La creatività per farlo la tingiamo sempre dal Vangelo. Dio vi benedica.
Saúdo cordialmente os
I
peregrinos.
cordially greet the Portuguese-speaking pilgrims, especially the group from Cape Verde.
O Senhor que nos
The Lord,
criou,
who created
chama-nos
us,
a seguir
calls us to
caminhos
follow
de
paths of
unidade.
unity.
A criatividade
The
vai
creativity to do
nascendo,
this,
brota
we
sempre
always
do
draw
Evangelho.
from the Gospel.
Deus vos abençoe.
May God bless you. And now we'll hear a summary in Arabic. You might have heard quite a lot of Portuguese speakers there. There were lots of French speakers and Spanish speakers cheering as well. And now we hear the summary in Arabic.
أيها الأب الأقدس، يسر المؤمنين الناطقين باللغة العربية الحاضرين هنا أن يعبروا لكم عن مشاعر الاحترام والتقدير وشكرهم البنوي، ويرفقونها بصلواتهم الدائمة إلى الله من أجل قداستكم وخدمتكم كخليفة القديس بطرس. في نهاية هذه المقابلة سنرتل معا صلاة الأبانا باللغة اللاتينية، ثم سيمنح الأب الأقدس جميع الحاضرين البركة الرسولية، ويشمل بها جميع أحبائكم وخاصة الأطفال والمتزوجين حديثاً والمسنين والمرضى والمتألمين بآلام شديدة. وسيبارك كذلك المسابح والأشياء التقوية التي يحملها معه كل واحد منكم. إليكم ملخص التعليم المسيحي لقداسة البابا فرانسيس. تكلم قداسة البابا اليوم على رذيلة شهوة الجسد في إطار تعليمه في موضوع الرذائل والفضائل، وقال: شهوة الجسد هي العلاقة التي تسمم الحياة الجنسية، لكن الوقوع في الحب هو من أنقى المشاعر إن لم يتلوث بالرذيلة. فالشخص الواقع في الحب يصير سخياً تجاه الآخر، ويسره تقديم الهدايا له، ويتوقف عن التفكير في نفسه ليجد كمال نفسه في الآخر الذي يحبه، وهو مستعد لأن يقدم له كل شيء. هناك سببان يجعلان شهوة الجسد رذيلة. أولاً، لأنها تدمر العلاقات بين الأشخاص. شهوة الجسد ليست علاقة، بل تريد أن تسيطر على الآخر ولا تريد أن تحترمه. هي حب لا عفة فيه. الحب يعني احترام الآخر والبحث عن سعادته وتنمية التعاطف مع مشاعره. أما شهوة الجسد فتريد إشباع شهوة في الجسد وتستمع لحاجتها وللذتها فقط. والسبب الثاني أن العلاقة الجنسية تشرك الحواس كلها وتسكن في الجسد والنفس، وهي حالة نفسية أيضاً. فإن لم تهذب بصبر ولم تدرج في علاقة وفي قصة يحولها شخصان إلى رقصة حب، فإنها تتحول إلى قيود تحرم الإنسان حريته. بدون حب نقي حقيقي الحياة تصير عزلة حزينة. والآن تحية البابا باللغة الإيطالية لأبناء الشرق الناطقين اللغة العربية.
Saluto i fedeli di lingua araba. Camminiamo sulla via dell'amore che Gesù ha percorso fino alla croce, perché solo l'amore ci disseta il cuore, guarisce le nostre ferite e ci dà la vera gioia. Il Signore vi benedica tutti e vi protegga sempre da ogni male.
أحيي المؤمنين الناطقين باللغة العربية لنسر في طريق الحب الذي
I
سارت
greet the Arabic-speaking faithful. We walk on the path of love that Jesus walked to the cross. For only love can quench our hearts. Only love can heal our wounds, and only love can give us true joy. May the Lord bless you all and protect you always from all evil. And we now go to the last summary and exchange of greetings that will be Polish, and after that, as Pope Francis said at the beginning of his catechesis, there'll be a circus performance.
Waszej świątobliwości wyrazy synowskiego oddania i szczerej wierności, zapewniając o modlitwie we wszystkich intencjach Jego apostolskiej posługi. Na zakończenie audiencji zaśpiewamy modlitwę Ojcze Nasz po łacinie. Po jej zakończeniu Ojciec Święty udzieli apostolskiego błogosławieństwa, obejmując nim szczególnie dzieci, osoby w podeszłym wieku i dotknięte cierpieniem. Pobłogosławi także różańce i dewocjonalnia, jakie pielgrzymi przynoszą ze sobą. Oto streszczenie katechezy Ojca Świętego. W kolejnej katechezie o wadach i cnotach rozważamy dziś rozwiązłość. Jest ona rodzajem zachłanności względem drugiej osoby, zwłaszcza w sferze seksualności. Chrześcijaństwo nie potępia seksualności, ale jej niewłaściwe traktowanie. Rozwiązłość pustoszy relacji między ludźmi. Jakże wiele związków przekształciło się w relacje toksyczne, polegające na posiadaniu drugiej osoby. To miłość, której brakuje czystości. Cnoty, której nie należy mylić z abstynencją seksualną. Jest ona raczej wolą, aby nigdy nie posiąść drugiej osoby. Inną formą zagrożenia jest pornografia, w której dąży się do satysfakcji bez relacji. Człowiek rozwiązły szuka drogi na skróty. Nie rozumie, że miłość wymaga czasu i cierpliwości. Teraz Ojciec Święty pozdrowi nas Polaków w języku włoskim.
Saluto cordialmente i polacchi. La catechesi di oggi è un incoraggiamento ad affrontare la lussuria. La lotta contro questo vizio può durare tutta la vita. La ricompensa però è incomparabile. Il perseverare, quella bellezza che Dio ha scritto nella sua creazione, quando ha immaginato l'amore tra uomo e donna. Vi aiutino in questo l'intercessione e l'insegnamento di San Giovanni Paolo II, che con grande devozione educava i giovani all'amore maturo. Vi benedico di cuore.
Oto słowa Ojca Świętego. Pozdrawiam serdecznie Polaków.
I cordially greet the Poles. Today's catechesis is an encouragement to face lust. The struggle against this vice can last a lifetime, but the reward is incomparable. To persevere in that beauty that God wrote into His creation when He envisioned love between man and woman. May the intercession and teaching of St. John Paul II, who, with great devotion, educated young people in mature love, help you in this, and I bless you from my heart.
Serca wam błogosławię.
So I said earlier that we'd have the circus performance now, but I think first we'll hear the Holy Father's greetings to the Italian-speaking faithful.
Assistiamo adesso ad una breve esibizione dei due circhi presenti.
No, so it's now been explained that we'll actually first have the circus performance. So there are two groups now coming out onto the stage, the Royal Circus and the Monaco Equestrian Circus. I hope you enjoy the show.
Baby, you understand me now. If sometimes you see that I'm mad, don't you know no one alive can always be an angel? When everything goes wrong, you see some bad. But I'm just a soul whose intentions are good. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood.
Oh, misunderstood ain't gotta be explained. But you don't understand me, so let me explain. Stood in the heat, the flames.
Соловей, соловей, не співай раненько, а мені на серденько, знов небе зеленько. Соловей, соловей, ой, як мені бути, вміла його полюбити, не вміла забути.
So just quickly, for those of you listening via radio, one performance is over and some of the performers are coming forward to greet the Pope. I don't know if there's going to be another performance after that, but right now just the Pope shaking some hands and receiving some gifts.
Santo Padre, i fedeli italiani desiderano esprimerle filiale affetto e sincera fedeltà.
And now some announcements being made in Italian, so the circus part is over, and now we'll hear the Pope's greetings to Italian
In conclusione
speakers.
di questa udienza canteremo la preghiera del Padre Nostro in latino, terminata la quale il Santo Padre impartirà la benedizione apostolica che estende in modo speciale ai bambini, agli anziani e ai sofferenti. Benedirà anche i rosari e gli oggetti di devozione che ciascuno porta con sé.
Esprimo la mia vicinanza.
I express my closeness and solidarity to the victims, all civilians, of the missile attack which has struck an urban area of Erbil, the capital of the autonomous region of Kurdistan in Iraq, Iraqi Kurdistan. The good relationships between neighbors are not built with such actions, but with dialogue and collaboration. And I ask all to avoid every step which might increase tension in the Middle East and in other areas of conflict. Tomorrow we begin the week of prayer for Christian unity, which this year has as its theme, love the Lord your God and love your neighbor as yourself. I invite you to pray that Christians might reach full communion and bear a unanimous witness of love toward all, especially toward the most fragile. And I extend a cordial welcome to Italian-speaking pilgrims. And another cheer goes up. Quite a full audience we've got today, with lots of cheering. In particular, I greet the pilgrims from Bellizzi, the Fede Casa group, the Pius IX La Salle Institute in Rome, big cheer there, and the Highland School in Rome. Finally, my thoughts go out to the young, the sick, the elderly and newlyweds. Today, the liturgy commemorates Saint Anthony Abbot, one of the founding fathers of monasticism. May his example encourage you to accept the gospel without compromise. And let us not forget countries that are in war. Let us not forget Ukraine. Let us not forget Palestine, Israel. Let us not forget the inhabitants of the Gaza Strip, who are suffering much. Let us pray for many victims of war, many victims. War always destroys. War does not sow love, it sows hatred. War is a true defeat, a true human defeat, a true defeat for humanity. Let us pray for people who are suffering in war, and my blessing to all. Now the Our Father in Latin.
Pater noster, qui es in celis, sanctificetur nomen tuum, adveniat regnum tuum, fiat voluntas tua, sicut in cielo et in terra. Panem nostrum quotidianum da nobis hodie, et dimitte nobis debita nostra, sicut et nos dimittimus debitoribus nostris, et ne nos inducas in tentatione, sed libera nos a malo.
Domino Vobiscum.
Et cum spiritu tuo.
Sin nomen Domini benedictum. Aiutorium nostrum in nomine Domini.
Qui fece cielo e terra.
Benedicat vos omnipotens Deus, Pater, et Filius, et Spiritus Sanctus.
And so that brings to an end this audience of Wednesday the 17th of January. Today we heard Pope Francis' reflections on the vice of lust, and the Pope said that lust makes a mockery of true love, in that it plunders, it robs, and it does not want to listen to the other, but only to its own needs and pleasure. There was also a performance with some performers from the Royal Circus and some from the Monaco Equestrian Circus at the end of the audience. If you want to listen back to this event at any time, you can find it on our Vatican News YouTube channel and on our Vatican News website, where you can also find summaries of everything the Pope has been up to recently. And you can find us by searching www.vaticannews.va or on Facebook, X and Instagram. I'm Joseph Tollock. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we hope you tune in again next time. Laudetur Jesus Christus. Praised be Jesus Christ.